Let's rock. That's, what's that from? That's from Twin Peaks. That's my favorite show of all time. And, yeah, we're back. Episode 2 of the podcast. I don't have a guest yet. I was thinking about it. I've been talking to a few people, but haven't gotten to it yet. Check. All right, that's good. I think I might bring my cousin on. He's in Rome, Italy. He's a character, man. Chris, he's a great dude. He's actually not my cousin. He's a close family friend. His dad and my dad, were like best buds, and so Chris is essentially family. You know, he's my cousin, but he married a girl from Italy, and he was in Italy. He's in Rome when the COVID hit. And so he got completely locked down. He was there for a few months. He couldn't leave. And so I called him. We actually hadn't talked in a few years. But, yeah, we talked on like WhatsApp. And he's like, yeah, I'm in Rome right now. I was like, what? And he's got a sarcastic sense of humor, so I thought maybe he was messing with me. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're in Rome. He's like, no, I'm stranded in Rome. So that's Chris. He's a character, and I might have him on live from Rome because he's back. He came back to Michigan, and then he went back to Rome again, and he's living with his wife there now. Really smart dude, really funny guy. But anyway, so yeah, then I might have Spurrier on here, John Spurrier, the Spurzo. I was talking to him about doing that. Maybe we'll do same kind of thing, like a Zoom call or light stream. Yeah, just wanted to yak with you guys. I started a Facebook page for this now, and I'm going to kind of try to advertise it. But I was thinking earlier, I wasn't watching. I was thinking about watching Wayne's World. And that one scene where he, Stacy, the crazy ex-girlfriend, is like, gives him that present at the donut shop, and it's like, a gun rack. I don't know why that. A gun rack. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack? I don't know. But Mike Myers was great. It's anything 90s, really. I mean, I think that's going to be a part of the drive of this channel, is like to focus on stuff from the 90s because it's just so good. It was just such a quality time for media. We're at 4 minutes here. So now before I was using my cell phone to record this. Now I'm using my SLR camera, but the record time on that on my phone, it was 20 minutes. That's what happened on the first episode. It stopped. And this is only 13 minutes, so I'm going to have to chop it up a little bit. But I think eventually I'll do it like a live stream because I've been doing that at work. I've been video editing with these guys for a few months now, and then they're getting into they do a podcast already, a video podcast, but now they want to do live stream. So I've been learning all about that. That's a whole other freaking headache, man, getting into live streaming. I don't know if any of you guys have worked in OBS, Open Broadcasting System or Source or whatever. It's a nightmare. I mean, I've used some annoying software in my life, but that is by far the worst. It's just, I mean, and it's free, so you can't really complain that much. It's a very extensive program for free. I don't know how any company does that. They give you this like really involved software and it's free. And I don't even think they advertise with it. I don't know. Donations? I don't know how they do it. But, yeah, it's just incredibly hard to use. I mean, it's like you have to go through all this menu options to just find like the one thing that you need to turn on in order for any of it to work. And then once you do that, like the audio will stop in the middle of a live stream if you don't dig through the menu and find this option and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it's just a nightmare. So I got this Lightstream subscription software, and that's what I'm going to use. So that's an option too for this. But I got some Yingling and pineapple Fanta. If you can see that, that's this show is brought to you by Pineapple Fanta. So it's not. It's actually not at all. So hopefully they don't ding me for copyright on that. But so the 90s, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just a magical time to be alive. And things like Wayne's World, things like Tommy Boy, Dumb and Dumber, comedies, like comedies are really not good for the most part nowadays. And like if you go on Netflix, it's like you look up comedies and it's like, I strangled my fiance, ha ha ha. And it's like, oh yeah, that's fucking hilarious. And then like, or it's like 9 Adam Sandler movies and not like any of the good ones. Like, Honeymoon and Timbuktu or whatever the fuck movie he made with like Drew Barrymore. And they're just not good. I mean, there are a few gems out there in the comedy world that come out, occasionally, but they don't make them like they used to, man. The 80s and the 90s were just, like Police Academy, Caddyshack, just those movies. Like somebody brought up Twins the other day. I mean, come on, what an incredible film, Twins with Danny DeVito and fucking Arnold. Yeah, we're gonna make the movie. Yeah, it's with Danny DeVito. He's short and I'm tall, and then the joke is that we're twins, but we look like opposite people. Yeah, but so yeah, the 90s. Music and the movies were great, And Wayne's World I always kind of joke is my favorite movie, but I think it actually might be Princess Bride. Okay. Now, if anybody's never seen that, usually when you bring it up, they're like, Princess Bride was a freaking Disney gay movie or something. And like, no, it's actually it's like the reaction that Fred Savage has in the beginning to the book. It's like when you tell people the name of the movie, they're like, what's that? Why would I watch Princess Bride? But that is, oh my God. I just watched that the other day. That's top 3. I don't know. I mean, that is one of the most incredible, entertaining, funny, captivating, it's just a perfect movie. Princess Bride is a perfect movie. And Peter Falk in the beginning, it's kind of how he explains the book, revenge, true love, fencing, fighting, wars, and I mean, like, just the scene with Vicini and, Wesley when they're doing the Battle of Wits. I mean, like, that alone is worth, actually, that alone is better than most movies. Just that scene is incredible. But like I saw that in the theater with my mom, and it was was it? When did it come out? 80? I don't know. I was like 4 years old or something when I saw it, but I did see that in the theater. I saw half of it because when they go into the fire swamp and then they get attacked by the giant rat, rodents of unusual size, ROSs. That was another thing. There's like so many lines in that movie where I never caught him. I didn't know what the hell she was even saying. What about the ROSs? And now that I watch most things with subtitles now because I'm half deaf anyway. But you pick up on that stuff. But remember that scene, Wesley? You hear the fire spout coming, and then he rolls him over. He burns the rat with the fire spout, and then he stabs it 5-6 times until it dies. So when he's stabbing it and it's going like I lost my shit as a little kid. I freaked out and like was screaming and like had to leave the theater. Or at least my mom, I think she took me out, like calmed me the fuck down, and then brought me back because I remember the end of it too. But I was actually, it wasn't that I was scared. I felt bad for the rat, That's what a nice guy I am. I mean, it's a giant rodent that's trying to eat the hero of the movie. But the way that it died, it was like, brrr! And I was like, incensed that it got killed that way. We're also sponsored by Juul. So, hit me up, Juul. So that was my shut off. But yeah, the Arnold Palmer with that. And this is good too. It's just like a shandy, Yingling's a big beer down here, and it's good. It's a good lager. But anyway, so yeah, I mean the movies are just not good anymore, really. The shows, there's some good shows. There's some good comedy shows, and there's good. I was just watching The 100. That was good, and Bad Blood. That was good. I mean, the shows are really kind of taken over. The movies are not so much of a priority, I don't think, for the studios. But yeah, it's just always like the stuff comes to me when I'm either falling asleep or waking up. And that's kind of, I don't know, that interests me, that kind of stuff, because it's like, it's the stuff that doesn't get talked about often. It's people don't sit around and discuss like what happened to them when they were falling asleep or waking up, or the things they thought of. And it's just things come into my head when I wake up. And I mean, this was pleasant this time. I went to a show. Actually went to a sort of a concert last night. It was some of my friends from the old bar I was working at went to, it was like Kane Brown, I think. He's a country guy. He's like a younger country guy, but it was actually pretty good. He does that kind of like some of that kind of rap country style stuff too. So, but he had a really good band, but it was projected on a screen, and it was just a bunch of people like in their own groups or vehicles, like watching on the screen and drinking, and it was pretty fun actually. I still don't really get. Yeah, I mean, not to get too into the topics of the day, but it's beyond time to bring bands back, bring shows back. People have got to make their own decisions and be able to go to shows. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, it is. This thing is way less harmful than it was projected to be, and it's like I think there's a little bit of a politicization going on there, but I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to talk about any political shit. But it is frustrating. I mean, it's like I love going to concerts. I love going to shows. And back when I was in Michigan, that was, at least once a week. I would go to a show or go to City Club or go to, friends DJing or whatever. I mean, it's like it is essential. It's essential, to go and hang out with your friends, have a few drinks, be responsible, but like life's almost not worth living when you can't go out and have a beer with your friends, I mean, it's like, what is it? Just work and come home and put your head in the oven. I mean, I don't know, like what, So, but yeah, it was actually a pretty fun show, it wasn't bad. It was Kane Brown and Friends or whatever, I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of the guy. I can't even say I would really necessarily listen to it, but it was just cool to get out and get crazy with my friends, and they're all characters and really funny, cool people, and that was a hoot. Yeah, so there was that, and then all right, so bartending. Back to bartending, it was I didn't realize going into it. Well, let's go back. So I used to run CNC machines, which is like a cutting machine that makes a mold so that you can then make like a plastic part, So you make the part all around this, you make the inverse of this, and then a plastic, and you inject liquid plastic into the mold. It's like a muffin. It's like, a muffin tin is essentially like a mold, or it is a mold. But anyway, so I was doing that. I have a drinking problem, and I was doing that, and then the shop that I was working at closed down, and that was kind of the start of like me realizing like what it's like to really be in an economic downturn, or seeing the results of manufacturing being outsourced to other countries is that people in America lose their jobs or the shops go under, and then like the bigger shops stay open somehow, even though they have like 10, 100 times the workforce and the overhead and all that shit. But I mean, they just get these big jobs and they get them piped right in from the big car companies, so they stay in business. But anyway, so that shut down, and I was like, shit, what am I going to do? So, I was like, literally, there you go, another great movie from the 80s, Cocktail, which don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That is a great, great movie, And, I guess I do have a bit of a bone to pick with a lot of people, because anytime I bring up movies like that, people are just roll their eyes and they scoff and they judge it. And it's like, have you even seen it? I don't know. Is it because it's Tom Cruise? Is it because it's from the 80s? I mean, they flip the bottles. Yeah, they flip the bottles around in the movie. Yep, that's a thing they do. But it also has like a lot of really, really good dialogue. It's like freaking, David Mamet style, even though he's a fucking hack, I think. But I guess that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And I'll come back to bartending eventually, maybe. I don't know. But it's just the fact that, like, there's a lot of things that I enjoy that people get really judgy about and stuff. And it's like, I don't really, like, things that I think are really good, a lot of times people don't really care about. And then stuff that people like rave about, I don't really get why they think it's good. I mean, and I don't hate on them. I'm not gonna give them a bunch of shit about it, but it's like, that's been my whole life. I don't know. It's just always been like Wayne's World. I mean, Wayne's World is a movie that if you bring it up, like, some people will love it and some people will be like, oh yeah, it's just a stupid comedy, and Mike Myers is a dick or something. I don't know. You know, people always have something to say, but it's like Cocktail's damn near a freaking masterpiece. I mean, like, you watch that movie and the dialogue and the lines and the monologues and the wisdom, you know, it's that bar room, like, real world kind of wisdom about life, and, you know, kind of a cynicism, but it just comes from experience, you know. It's like, I was listening to this audio book. It's called Untethered Soul, and from a book, and it's like a lot of that, you know, that actually really helped me out a lot. It was sort of the basis of the book is letting go of your fixations, you know, and that's something that I've done for years, is fixate on an idea or have a negative thought come in my head and I hold on to it, you know, or I try to analyze it, or I let it spin me off into a bad direction. And that's kind of what the book's about, is just letting it pass. Just let it pass through you. And that literally just changed my life. Like, over last weekend, I was doing I had to travel a little bit for work, and I was driving, so I would listen to this audiobook. And it was great, man. I mean, like, it just finally clicked for me. You hear people say that in the kind of Buddhist line of thought, or the New Age kind of line of thought, and it's like, you know, let it pass, let it flow through you. And it never clicked for me until, like, when I finally heard that. And they keep kind of repeating it throughout the book, but it was like, you know, I get it now. And I've been doing it, and it works. I mean, it just, because I get these crazy, you know, damn near evil thoughts in my head. And I'm like, what the fuck is that about? You know, and then I would analyze it and hang on to it and morbidly, you know, sort of wallow in it and let it take me off in a bad direction, you know, especially if you're like smoking weed or you're drinking, you know, or whatever. It's like you're more susceptible, so it'll take you on a bad trip or on a bad turn in your way of thinking. So, like, I've been doing that. I've been letting it go. I've been letting bad thoughts or fears, you know, a lot of fears about the future or projections of the future, which almost always never turn out that way. I mean, you know, think about every time that you've worried about something and, you know, something playing out a certain way. You know, you got a meeting at work, or you got a date, or you got a, you know, something you're kind of anxious about, you know. You're going to see somebody that you're not on good terms with, or I don't know, whatever. But it's always like, it never turns out the way you think it will. Almost always, you know. I mean, sometimes it's good to it's good to strategize, I think, in life, and it's good to kind of, you know, play the game and in a positive way. I mean, it's like, don't be, you know, well, be manipulative if you want, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, it's good to strategize and to be prepared. Preparation is huge in life, you know. I mean, you want to prepare for the meeting so that your anxiety goes down, and then when you're in the meeting, you're going to do well. You know, if you just sit and worry about the meeting and don't prepare for it, and then you do shitty in the meeting, well, what do you expect? You know, like, fail to plan to fail, you know, as they say. But so back to bartending. Now, bartending was, you know, I mean, I made decent money at it, and it's a very good social exercise, you know. I mean, it's like, you got to be sharp, you got to be quick, you got to be on top of your game. You can't drop stuff. I mean, that was kind of my problem, is I'm fairly clumsy, and it's pretty tough to be a bartender if you're clumsy, because I was not constantly, but, you know, pretty frequently breaking a glass or two. I mean, one time, one shift, I broke like 3 wine glasses, and I cut the hell out of my fingers. And then you cut yourself, and you're serving in front of people with like, a Band-Aid on, or you got to put these like blue rubber condom things over your fingers, and it just looks gross. And then people are like, "What's with the condoms on your finger?" And I would always just be like, "Yeah, it's I had stubbed my finger playing basketball, or jammed my finger." But it was, it's not something I'd really want to do for a long time. It was a good experience. I did it for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and but it's just so much drama. Oh my God. I mean, I love women, don't get me wrong, but holy hell, do you gals kick up some drama, and actually it's not even just the girls, the guys too. I mean, in any kind of work environment, but especially in like restaurant jobs and in like construction, finish carpenters and plumbers and all, when you get all the trades coming together on a job, if you're like gutting a house or renovating, fucking hell, are they just drama machines, man. And it's ironic because like they're the, often think they're like the tough guys, or the, they're not susceptible to drama and bitching all the time and all that. But oh my God, I mean, nobody bitches more than a Finnish carpenter. I don't know what it is about Finnish carpenter. They think they're like fucking Da Vinci because they can, apply stain to a molding or something. And it's there's a science to it. It's not knocking the trade. It's a very skilled trade. But anyway, so so is serving and bartending. It's a skilled trade. Bartending especially. Serving is just a real grind. And you got to deal with a lot of rude customers. And people are. A lot of people are just rude. To servers, and you see that when you're on the other side of it. And but here I was, in Naples, and we'd be serving the like snowbirds, who are people coming from Boston, coming from Michigan, coming from Ohio, coming from all the Midwest places for the winter. And 60 to 80% of them are assholes, like the men and the women. The women are stuck up as all hell. The guys are just rude, grumpy fucks, and they just sit there and stare at you until they get their drink. And it's like we get into some crazy rushes at that place, and it was, you'd have them stacked 2-3 deep waiting for drinks, and it feels like fucking battle sometimes. It really does. It feels like a war. It feels like you're in a trench. And then of course something goes wrong. You run out of printer paper, you run out of, and then you got to serve the drinks for the servers too, so you're doing the service well, you're taking care of your bar. It's intense, if you got a stacked bar, and then you got freaking receipt after receipt after receipt of drinks printing out that you got to make for the servers. As the servers are sitting there waiting for you. It's like in Cocktail. If you guys have seen Cocktail, it's like when he first starts, that's pretty much how I was like. I was just like clueless, and I need a Cuba Libre, the server, the waitress, and then like you got 10 people in front of you like, hey, dude, my Bud Light, and I need my cranberry vodka, and it's Tito's, and then you like, you give this old lady her martini, and then she's like, well, I wanted the rocks on the side. They want, when you shake the martini, they want to keep the rocks. All of them want to do it. But they all tell you that after the fact, after you bring them the drink. Oh, I wanted the rocks. Can you make the rocks? Oh, fuck. Okay, you got to go back. You got to, dirty up the rocks, and so they can have another side glass of rocks. And, it's a pain in the ass. I always used to wonder, too, like, why, when I wasn't a bartender, I'm like, geez, these bartenders are so moody, and it's like, it's not like it's a hard job, you know. It's a pretty hard job. I mean, especially if you're really busy and you're really in a really busy place. It's tough, you know, and there's some kick-ass bartenders out there that can really keep their cool. Like the big service well, I did it a couple times, but it was just too crazy. There was one guy, there's a guy and a girl that were really good at it. And I mean, you would just have just line after line after line of drinks. And these were specialty cocktails. So you got to make a pineapple martini, you got to make a, you know, espresso martini, you got to make we'd have a smoker for like a smoked old fashioned. You got to literally put like wood chips in the smoker and then put it into a, what do you call it? The brandy glass, I forget what they call it, but snifter. Then you put the smoke on top. So I mean, it's just drink after drink after drink. I mean, they were and you know, they did a good job. You know, they kept their cool, and like occasionally there would be like fights between like the servers and the, you know, arguments. Never like a fight, but it's a grind, you know, and you know, I respect it for sure. But anyway, so I was doing that. Yeah, it's kind of like people don't appreciate something until they do it, you know, and it's really easy to talk shit and poo-poo something or judge it and think that it's easy, you know. It's like, you know, music, like going to that show last night. It's like, I'm not really the biggest new country fan, you know, at all, but I can appreciate, you know, a good drummer. Dude was a good singer and good performer. The whole band was really good, you know. And a lot of people, I don't know, I think a lot of people are just spoiled by the amount of media that comes out. And it's like, you know, especially with music. I mean, music is just like tap water now. I mean, it's really, there's almost no value to it. And, you know, the only way that musicians can make a buck is to tour. And now that's been taken away. So man, you know, the walls close in on you, and it's kind of a shame. But you know what gets me through it? Pineapple Fanta. Yeah. Refreshing, crisp, and just the right amount of sweet. So anyway, but yeah, it's easy to talk crap and to complain, and, you know, I mean, in terms of political stuff, to go there, it's like I hear a lot of people talking about, you know, wanting to abolish institutions and burn things down, and we got to tear it all down and stuff. And it's like, you guys do realize how much life would suck if that happened, right? I mean, do you? Because I don't think they do, you know. I don't think they really do realize like how important it is to have law and order, as much as people hate it in some cases, or, you know, and yeah, there are horrible people that do, you know, that abuse that power. But to say that then warrants like getting rid of the whole system is just insane. Because if we go back to a sort of survival of the fit kind of a situation, I hate to break it to a lot of these kids that are just on their computer complaining about it all day, but they're not going to fare too well. Okay? Yeah. If you think that, you know, breaking a nail nowadays is a rough go, you're not going to like it when the structure of society breaks down, you know, and hopefully it never comes to that. But it's the same kind of thing with music. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm a musician. I've been playing since I was 10 years old, and I'm not trying to brag or anything. It's just like, I appreciate when I see a good drummer. I appreciate when I see a good singer, and it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be something that I'm exactly tuned into, you know. And it's like, and then sometimes I can kind of spot a fraud too, you know, like there's a lot of musicians or a lot of like hot topic, like, you know, not hot topic, but like hot, you know, fad, you know, new bands or whatever that are just not very good. You know, I think a lot of the time it's just they're kind of uninteresting and people are like losing their shit about it, you know. It's just like the zeitgeist of the 90s, I think was the pinnacle of modern society, you know. I mean, it's like I do miss it, you know, and that's why I basically just watch and listen to stuff from the 90s, you know. And there's new bands too, though. I mean, like Black Midi, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they're incredible, you know. There's Nowhere, this one band, Nowhere, and I think it's the guy from Clowncore, who's that crazy kind of gimmick band, but on YouTube. But like, they're it's the drummer, I think, from Clowncore, because it was related video. It was Nowhere is his band, Lewis Cole, and man, they are incredible musicians. I mean, the girl singer is amazing. She has an amazing voice. It's kind of exactly the kind of singer that I've been looking for my own musical project. But Lewis Cole plays drums, and I think he writes a lot of the stuff. And it's like, I mean, sometimes it's just full orchestra, sometimes it's just a funky groove, you know, with like kind of electro pop sort of sensibilities to it, but it's like just stunning stuff. I mean, it's brilliant musicianship and writing. And once again, like, that's the kind of stuff, like, I'll show it to my friends and I'll be geeking out about it, and they're like, yeah, it's okay, whatever. I'm like, damn it, man, God, you know, I think maybe that's it. I mean, I get frustrated, and I think a lot of people get frustrated by that. It's very disappointing to be enthusiastic about something and then be shot down or be deflated or be like, you know. But it's the way it goes. I mean, that's, you know, there's a lot of things that people, like I said, they rant and rave about, and I just don't really find them that good or that worthy of being, you know, raved about. Either way, that's what's going on in my life. And things have been good. Got a good job, and you know, would be nice to meet a girl. You know, it's very difficult in Naples to date, or even just to meet people to date. Like, the whole environment here is not very conducive to that. Everybody stays in their certain groups. And I mean, it's like that in most places, but it's like intensified here. I mean, I lived in LA for 3 years, and it was easier to meet people in LA than it is here because it's just tough. So I've been on online dating and that crap. Online dating is such a joke. You know, somebody messages you or you message somebody, and then 2 days later they respond or you respond, and then 2 days after that they respond, and then usually it just goes nowhere, you know. Or anytime that I've, like, most of the time, I mean, I've been on a few internet dates and they're usually terrible, but like the what do you call it? Oh yeah, you know, I'll talk to a girl online and you're chit-chatting back and forth, and it's like, so do you want to, you know, go on a date? You know, I can't actually say it like that, right? But because that's lame, I think. I don't know. I don't even know anymore what's cool or not, you know. And that's where I'm getting old. And just like, you hear people say that, like, I don't even know anymore what's the whip, you know, like. But, you know, you ask a girl out on the dating site, and then they just, like, either disappear or they give you the, like, you know, the run around on that. That's always been a big, like, pet peeve of mine with dating is, like, or trying to date, is, like, the scheduling and, like, oh, I'm just so busy, I'm going to school now, and I have 2 jobs. And it's like a lot of women do have like 2 jobs and they're going to school, and like great, that's awesome. But damn it, go on a date with me occasionally, like my life's going good. I could really use a little like, affection. It would be great. I'm starting to feel like freaking Quasimodo over here, I'm just a gigolo. Won't some sweet mama come and take a chance with me? 'Cause I ain't so bad. You know what I mean? But then again, I turn down people that, I turn down women that I don't find physically attractive. I do. You guys do it too, or men or women, whatever you're doing. But there's always like, a line of people that are, or whatever. There's people that are interested in me that I'm not interested in them. I'm interested in people. They're not interested in me. It's like a chain of chasing, or of unrequited, attraction. And then you finally sync up with somebody and you find them attractive. They find you attractive. You have the same schedule. You like and dislike similar things. And then you get into what's called a relationship. So I think I'm ready to give one of those a shot again. It's been a while, but I've had my issues in the past with trust and with, because I fixate. I get a little obsessive when I'm in love, or I have in the past, and it can be a terrible feeling. So it's great and it's terrible, as you know. But yeah. So if I could get something like that going, that'd be great. Comment in the box there. DM me in the PM me in my DMs if you want to go on a date. But yeah, life's good. It's a struggle. Of course, it's a struggle, but it's kind of like learning to appreciate stuff. That's really what it's about. I think it's learning to appreciate stuff. And in order to learn that, you gotta struggle, and you gotta go through trials, and you gotta feel pain and feel disappointment and embarrassment and anxiety and all that shit. It's all, I think it is part of a process. It's this is some sort of a boot camp in the material world that teaches, what was it in the Leonard Cohen song, Teachers? We teach old hearts to break. We teach old, I don't know. It's like, you come into this world sort of, a lot of kids are like sociopaths, or like extreme narcissists, and I was too. I didn't really have much like empathy, and you're very self-centered, and you're very selfish, and you're just, it's sort of the genius of the material world, is that it makes your spirit learn to share. You learn the concept of sharing. You learn the concept of don't hit that person with a frying pan. You learn like, don't say certain things because it'll hurt that person's feelings. That was a big thing when I was growing up, was I would just say whatever I wanted or make jokes, and a lot of times it's people don't want to joke about certain things, or at certain times people don't want to joke, and that's been one of my biggest lessons is learning when to joke, when not to, and how far to push the line with people. I can usually feel the line with most people, and sometimes I'll push it on purpose, with a joke that's off color or with a comment, and sometimes it backfires and people want to fight me, or they want to they start these sort of hate campaigns against me. That was the thing in bartending, was like, you're going to have, let's say 10 people work there. You're going to have one or two enemies. And then you're going to have like 3 or 4 people who like just tolerate you, don't really care. And then you'll have like, 3 or 4 friends. But, the people that hate you, when I was bartending at this last place, I had a older woman who completely turned on me. And it was because I partially because she was threatened by me kind of coming in, and I didn't go through the whole process of being a server and then a bartender. They just put me on the bar, and that's what a lot of servers are wanting to do. Even though she was not a very good bartender, and she even said she didn't want to bartend, but when I came in, she like did everything in her power to try to make especially the women there, hate me. And it was one time early on in one of my during my training, they were putting me on the bar, and it got really busy, and it was like, but she was sort of standing in my way, and it seemed almost like on purpose. I mean, like every time I turn around, she's just standing there, and she's like really slowly rinsing something out in the sink, and it's like, I got fucking 15 drinks to make. So I was like, hey, you're kind of crowding the plate here. Can I get into the sink, please? And she frickin' lost it, man. She was screaming and hollering and going to management and saying I got to be fired and all this stuff. And they were just like, okay, I don't know what to tell you, lady. Like, he's said something to you that upset you. But I mean, she was kind of nuts. But then the it starts creeping out, and you can see her over there talking to somebody and looking at you, and like, it's like, God damn it, what is she saying about me? Like, I'm not an evil person. I'm not a bad guy, okay? And then I've come to find out, like, talking to some of those people, because over time they realized that I wasn't a, dick. And like, they're like, yeah, she basically made it sound like you were like a woman beater or something, like. So yeah, I mean, it's like technical issues, like what like we're shooting this, little video here. The camera, the SLR camera that I have, only films for 13 minutes at a time, and then goes off. So I got to keep getting up. I got to, and I don't know how long that just stopped before I remembered. Oh yeah, I got to restart the camera. It's a drag, especially if you're doing it for work. I mean, like one time at my current job, we were doing a podcast, and I realized about 12 minutes into the podcast that I wasn't recording the audio. And I'd only been there for about a month, and I was like, God damn it. I didn't think they were going to fire me, but it was just like a bad look. So I'm trying to fix the audio. I'm doing all this stuff, and then finally I just had to tell them, like, look, man, I messed up, or I just said like there was a problem with the audio, and it didn't get, and at first they were kind of like, not pissed, but just like, God, man, like, that sucks. But then we kind of edited it so that it was fine. Like, I kind of just started it later on in the podcast, and it was kind of not that big a deal, but I was really terrified for a little while about it. But yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes in life, and it's like, you gotta keep trying, I keep getting up, keep hitting the record button. I'm going to keep doing these shows. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep getting up in the morning, and, sometimes it sucks and sometimes it's great, so keep on keeping on. You heard me? And this stuff doesn't hurt, to get you through it. You want to do it in moderation, of course, but, drink some pineapple Fanta, take your cares away. So, all right. Catch y'all on the next one.
Forever on the edge, just working for your best that you can.